Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am doing a live intro today for this video just because I want to explain a little bit about my thinking process before I then move you into voiceover fast forward mode. So I am creating this layout for the Confessions of a Paper Addict DT, which Jess and I are so honoured to be a part of, and so I have chosen this adorable bunny cut file. Just look at it. Holy guacamole. And the reason I chose that cut file is because I have these beautiful photos. So this one here is a photo of my partner pushing my son in his pram, and this was the very first time that my son got to go outside. Well, I mean, he went in an ambulance. He got transferred in an ambulance from the hospital he was born at to the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne. But when he was transferred, he went in the humidity crib, so he went outside, but he didn't get to feel the wind on his face or anything. So this was his very first outside trip. And for anyone who lives in Melbourne or doesn't and has visited the Royal Children's Hospital, you may know they have rabbits there. Not pet rabbits, they're wild rabbits, but they are on the grounds and you can see them daily. So these are photos of 2 rabbits that we saw just out the entrance of the Royal Children's Hospital, just on the lawns. And so I took photos of the rabbits and my son and my partner, and so I wanted to use this cut file because I thought it would be adorable to talk about Lincoln's first outside visit and that we saw rabbits. So I'm using the I think it's called the Little One collection by Kaiser Craft. And I liked this background paper because it's got a really light sort of chevron pattern through it. But I don't want this part to show up. So I'm thinking about maybe, I found this in my stash. It's the same paper collection. It had already been ripped. So I was like, ooh, that could work as like grass. And, you know, I could put my photos over here to sort of cover the image. And then the bunny, I don't know. I'm thinking something like that. So I'm going to cover the bunny rabbit, not cover it, layer it, what do you call it? Paper piece, using papers from the collection. So I've got a whole heap of papers in here. This one, and then I've got a heap of ones that I haven't cut yet. So I've got all of these full page papers too, so I've got heaps of paper that I can choose from. I'll probably try and use up some of these scraps first, just because, you know, they're scraps and I don't like to waste things. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. So I wanted to, I guess, explain it a little bit live before I switch to voiceover fast forward mode, so you kind of knew my thought process moving forward. So next time you see me, I will have already backed this because I'm not going to film that. It takes forever to back cut files and it's a bit boring. So I'll back this off camera. Oh, my baby's awake. I better go and get him up. So next time you see me, I will have backed this. We'll be right and ready to go with putting the rest of the layout together. However, it's going to have to wait now till my son's next sleep. So leave this with me. I'll see you soon, completely backed, and we'll go into fast forward mode. Alright, so here we are, fast forwarding, and I am showing you that I have backed the cut file. I used predominantly a kind of grey paper with white text, and then I had little pink accents. I am totally fine. I think I've said this many times before, and those of you who watched our videos will know that I use pink on layouts of boys all the time. I don't feel like pink should not be used for boys and blue should not be used for girls, and vice versa. And yes, I'm just all for using whatever I want on my layouts. So as I mentioned at the start of this video when I did my live introduction, Jess and I are so lucky to be part of Virginia's design team for Confessions of a Paper Addict, her cut file shop on Etsy. Everything will be linked in the description box down below, but that is where this cut file came from because Virginia has done an awesome Animal Kingdom week this week, and she has created so many amazing animal cut files. So you'll see heaps of the other DT use different animal cut files this week, and there's some awesome stuff. And I mean, she's got millions of awesome layouts in her shop anyway, and I have been blessed to be able to use a few of them. I'm also very excited because I am planning on getting a silhouette for my birthday this year, which is in June. So that is super exciting. At the moment, my sister has one and she cuts everything for me, which is wonderful. But sometimes it's a bit tricky because I don't see her quite as often as I would like. But now I'm going to have my own and it'll be newer than hers. So I will probably end up cutting everything for her. So I should probably tell you what I'm doing. This is quite a long video because surprisingly enough, this layout actually took me quite a while to put together, not including backing the cut file, which in and of itself takes a bit of time. But I just took forever faffing around deciding what I wanted to do. So I've stuck the grass, so to speak, down, and I put a browning strip from a different piece of paper with a black chevron down the bottom as well, just because I really liked that paper and I thought it added a cute little accent. And now I am backing the photos. So again, just using up or trying to use up the scraps of this collection. I've still got heaps of full sheets left, but also just trying to work through the scraps so I don't have kind of a heap of scraps left. I want to try and work through the whole kit. I have heaps of ephemera packs because I bought 2 of them, and then for some reason I got given half a pack of this ephemera pack as well. So I had 2.5 packs of the ephemera, which is a lot, and it's going to take me a while to get through it all, but that is okay. I have a lot of photos to scrap of my baby boy, and this is the perfect collection for it. So I'm sprinkling this collection throughout my whole album, or at least until it's gone. Anyway, that's my plan. So here I am still backing my photos. I've got 3 of them, as I mentioned in the intro, and they are special photos to me. I mean, all pictures are special pictures, aren't they? But, you know, the firsts of things are always special, and I was sort of documenting lots of firsts for Lincoln, and yeah, this is his first trip outside. And it's amazing at the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne, if any of you have ever been there. All around the grounds there, they have so many rabbits. I mean, I know we have a problem with rabbits in Australia, but these are wild rabbits and they are just everywhere in inner city Melbourne. I mean, apart from being in the middle of the CBD, the Royal Children's Hospital is just sort of on the outskirts of the CBD, and it is in inner city Melbourne. And rabbits, I mean, really, rabbits? I suppose we are near the tram tracks, and also the zoo is quite close to there, so there's a lot of rabbits, and it's just weird. It's weird. But yeah, you see them everywhere. So if you haven't seen them there before, literally just go outside and walk around sort of the outside of the Royal Children's Hospital, do a blockie, and you are almost guaranteed to find them. I saw them every time I went for a walk outside, and I was there for 16 days and I did a lot of walking outside. So yeah, they're everywhere. And I know that when Jess came to visit us on one of the trips that she came to visit us, her and the boys went, and my parents actually, there's a park right near the Royal Children's, which is amazing. It has like amazing water play area and everything. And they took Jack and Tom down to the park after they'd come to visit us. And there were rabbits there too, everywhere. I should probably tell you what I'm doing. Sorry about that. I just fussy cut out a whole heap of extra leaves from one of the pieces of pattern paper. I cut it out. I edited that part out because I thought there is no point you watching me fussy cut, and I was sort of off camera anyway. But I wanted to let you know that's what I'd done, and I'm sorting through the ephemera, just sort of picking out some of the things that could work. I wanted to use up quite a few of the animal ephemera pieces on this layout because I just thought it might be a good excuse to do that. And I didn't use quite as many animal pieces of ephemera as I thought I would. I actually only get 4 on the layout, not including the cut file, of course. And I'm also trying to work through some of my stash of random things. So this is just foam that I bought from a $2 shop, and so I rediscovered it and thought I need to use this up. So that is what I'm doing now, and I actually double foamed it, which you can see there. I put double layer of that on just so I could pop up the cut file, I guess, higher than most other things on the layout. So I have popped the foam behind the cut file, and now I think I'm going to stick down my photos before I get too much further. So yeah, I am. So I'm sticking this little, it's kind of like a pink they're almost like doilies, sort of border strip, and I'm sticking that behind one of the photos. I don't end up using the other one, which is on the top photo there of my partner and son, and I don't end up using that. That doesn't make it onto the layout. But I do use that other one that I layer down, and now I'm just going to commit to where I'm sticking my photos and then try and build the layout around that. So I am just popping up this photo onto foam, and then the top photo I will pop up on a double layer of foam just to create some dimension, but also make sure that the photos can nest over top of each other easily, and everything that I wanted to kind of be seen in the photo can be seen. So the bottom two photos with the rabbits in them, I zoomed in a fair bit on my iPhone, so they're not the best quality photo, and I don't really need the entire kind of 3x4 photo to be seen. I really just need people to be able to see that the rabbits are there, and for me to see that the rabbits are there, and so I make sure they're the sort of focus of those two photos. And then I wanted to be able to see the entirety of this photo of my partner and my son, so that one sort of went on top, and I've popped it up on double foam, and I don't kind of layer anything over the top of that. That photo really is my focus. I guess the bunnies were a nice touch, but that photo is, I guess, where I want the eye to be drawn, because that's the story. That's my son. It's his first trip outside. So I have stuck all those photos down, and now I'm going to commit to where I am sticking the actual cut file. And it's funny, I thought that, you know, having the ripped piece of paper along the bottom would look like grass, but as is always the case when you kind of like a design element that you've created, you end up completely covering it anyway, and you can't even tell really that I have kind of ripped that paper to create that effect. Because I literally think, apart from the bit on the left near the bunny's little tail, I literally cover every other piece. You can't tell at all. So I have stuck the bunny cut file down, and now I am playing around with some of the ephemera pieces, just kind of figuring out where I might put things, how I might kind of, you know, want the kind of final layout to look. And I do end up sticking some things down straight away, so not kind of placing things and then sticking. I do kind of start to stick once I go, yes, I'm kind of happy with this. I'm not going to kind of faff around with the leaves, for example. I'm just going to start sticking them down now. So I'm sticking my photo first. I hadn't stuck that final one. I just placed it, and I'm going to stick the cut file and commit to that. And then I'm going to stick the leaves in around the layout. And I don't edit this part out because I figured that you might want to see it, and I change things up as I'm going, so I figure it was just good to leave it in. That's why the layout is much longer than my kind of normal layout videos, more normal process videos, because I did think about this one a lot more than I often do. So you can see that I've already put my title on this baking paper, and I do that a lot when I already know what I want my title to be. I often will just stick that on some baking paper to the side before I start my layout, because it saves a bit of time. And I was just experimenting here about where I might like it to go, because I've got the subtitle, which at this point in time I thought would be Lincoln's first outside adventure, but spoiler alert, I can't fit the word Lincoln in. And also, spoiler alert, literally none of the thickers that I placed down at this point in time remain on the layout. But I've left all of this in because you can see how sometimes our creative, I guess, process changes halfway through. So I like my title Hop to it, and the title itself stays. It's just the thickers that end up changing. So I've put in Hop to it, and now I think I'm going to embellish with all the leaves and things like that around my photos. So yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, here I am. So I am starting off with creating a cluster sort of down in the middle of the two photos at the bottom, and I'm just working out which animals I want to use in that cluster. I've got a bunny rabbit, which obviously I'm going to use because it's a layout about a rabbit. And then I decide to go with the bear and the bunny rabbit. And I really want to get on the bunny rabbit that has the word dream big, the pink one. It's sort of a silhouette of a rabbit, but it doesn't really work in that particular cluster, so I take it off for the moment. But it does make it back on the layout because, you know, it's a rabbit and the dream big sentiment is pretty relevant. And so yeah, it does make it back on. So again, I'm using foam to pop this up, and I think this one I have a double layer of foam, potentially. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe just a single. Yeah, just a single. And then for the little bunny rabbit, I do put a double layer of foam on that so that it is a bit higher than the bear. So I'm sticking that down, committing. Here I go. Woohoo! Don't overthink it. Just stick it down. Although some might say I did overthink this layout a little bit. So stuck that down. There we go. And again, I'm thinking about that pink bunny rabbit, but I end up not putting it down there. And now I'm going to move on to sticking the leaves down that I fussy cut, and there are a few leaves that were also in the ephemera pack which I've included here, so I am just placing those, and then I decide no, I'm not going to place them, I'm just going to start sticking. And so we stick them all down. So you can see me here, I'm just scattering them around. I end up actually creating 4 clusters for this layout, which to me I think looks fine. I don't think the rule of thirds is interrupted because I've created 4 clusters. I think it still works. I feel like it still works. Anyway, and so here I am popping up some of the leaves on foam dots, as well as sticking them flat to the layer. And again, as I said to you, I'm just scattering them around. So I'm putting them just kind of in front of the bunny rabbit's front legs, on either side of the photo of my partner and son, and then in the middle of the 2 photos at the bottom. They're my 4 little clusters, and I add leaves in each section. So you can see I'm adding leaves to under the rabbit's, or in front of the rabbit's foot there. There we go, popping some up as I said. And then I think I've got a couple more leaves left, which I will add. There we go, that little brown one, and adding a couple down with the bunny rabbit and bear cluster. And then I think that's all the leaves. I've got one more to add in that bottom cluster. And I think that's it for the leaves. Oh yes, here is where I am trying to work out where to put my subtitle. Lincoln's first outside adventure. Probably a little ambitious. So you can see here, I edit out the sticking down. I do attempt to write Lincoln's first outdoor adventure, but you can see here that I just switch to first outside adventure because Lincoln's first outside adventure wouldn't fit. Actually, the word adventure wouldn't fit anywhere but where it's placed now, so that limited my options somewhat. And now I am adding in I put a little bird in the left cluster beside my partner, so I'm adding that. And then I do add the dream big bunny rabbit, and I add that at sort of in front of the feet of the bunny rabbit cut file, and I tuck that in there. And then I'm going to switch back to live because I needed to explain some of the changes that I am going to make in this layout, and I do it via kind of a live check-in for you. So I'm just going to stick this rabbit back down, and then I think I'm going to trim the leaves off the edge of the layout, and then I'm going to come back to live so you can hear my thought process to my title. As I, spoiler alert, already told you, every one of those stickers changes. And so yes, I will explain to you why I did that and made that decision. So I thought I might add that little word, but I don't. I'm packing up my ephemera. I am done with the ephemera. But I am going to switch over to live and explain to you my thought process and where I am at. Okay, I'm coming back to live, and excuse the crappy lighting, I'm losing daylight very quickly and I've got my lights on, but it creates these funny shadows. But I just wanted to talk you through where I'm at. So a couple of things have changed since the last clip. One is these stickers here. I was using, let me grab them, the Happy Life stickers. They came with the latest Paige Evans collection, and so they're coloured on this side, and this side are like they're like a pearl finish with a white foam, and the colours just didn't work, so I went with the pearl finish, and it does work. However, The mint and gold thickers that I originally had were not really working for me either. So I've got some choices. I've got this white one, this matte gold with black foam, and then these were the gold with the mint. I think I'm ruling out the gold with the mint, and I'm just trying to decide which of these that I like. So I think the rest of my layout's finished, and I'm going to put some splatters on like I always do. I'm really happy with it, although I'm thinking I like first outside adventure rather than first adventure outside. I don't know, it just struggled to fit first and outside up here. So I may change that to first outside adventure, but I like those thickers the best. The pearl finish with the white foam. And so I like the white, but I'm just worried it doesn't pop enough. So which would you guys have chosen? You can tell me in the comments. Obviously it's too late. I will have already chosen them, but I'd be interested to know which ones you would choose. Also, I apologise in advance if my baby monitor right here, my child, is asleep. I apologise if he starts screaming. It's almost 5 o'clock, so he will be awake soon until his dinner time and bedtime, and he wakes up screaming. That's just what he does. So hopefully he doesn't wake yet, but he might, and I apologise. So I'm thinking these ones. Once I put some gold splatter, I'm hoping it will tie in the kind of gold here. What do you think? I'll move my head out of the way, so hopefully there's not so many shadows. Yeah, I'm thinking these ones. I'm going to go with these, right? I'm making my decision. I'm going with these. I'm going to put you back on fast forward, and you'll see the completed layout very soon because it won't take me long to finish now. Okay. All right, we are on the home stretch. So I did decide to use the black, the matte black, sorry, the matte gold with the black foam, because it just popped more than the white. I really liked the white, and in person it looked much better than it did on camera, but the matte gold with the black just popped a lot more. So I am changing those over, as you can see there, and yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I do grab an exclamation mark from the thicker pack, and then again I do end up changing the first outside adventure. I thought about it, but I do change it. So you can see me there. I've changed it to first outside adventure. So there we go. And I think we're basically done. I'm going to use the gold Heidi Swap Colour Shine. I am going to cover up the photos. Well, sort of. I'm going to cover up the photo at least of my partner and part of the other two photos. And then I'm going to sprinkle with gold very liberally. I think every layout deserves gold, don't you? Sorry. That's my baby monitor. My child has decided that now is a good time to start stirring. He's not quite awake, but he's thinking about waking up. So I'll be able to finish this voiceover, but he's got good timing. So here I am, sprinkle, 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 sprinkling all the gold. And then I do end up also sprinkling some pink. As I said, this layout has some accents of pink, so I do end up using the Craft pink and sprinkling that everywhere. And then that's it. I'm going to show you some close-ups. Please go and check out Virginia's Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file shop on Etsy. It's amazing. She does amazing cut files. I think you guys will really love them if you're into cut files, so go and check them out. This was a super fun layout to create, and you will be seeing lots more from me using cut files coming up, because Virginia has heaps that I've got lots of inspiration to use. So I am going to use up quite a few of them, I think. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it was a rather long one from me today, but thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Alright guys, bye!